Hello, buddy. Welcome back. Final whistle. David Giacomino, Tom Takashushi, Chris Freitag just stepped out for a moment. He'll be back in just about a minute. We just want to recap the big UFC event that would just happen over the past weekend. We saw Conor McGregor fight Nate Diaz and was upset,
Which I called.
which was a surprise to many people. And Holm was also upset by Miesha Tate.
Which we both called.
Oh, yes. I called that. You called that. But we'll get into that a little later. But, huge event. A lot of people saw McGregor as the favorite. And, this fight, what did you think about it? I know you saw it. But, round one was to McGregor. Round two was, back and forth. What were your thoughts here?
I mean, McGregor got cocky. I mean, he won round one, but he just got cocky. He started taunting Diaz. And when you do that, when you move up 2 weight classes, it's not going to be as easy as it was back when he was in, 145, 155?
Yeah.
I mean, he moved up 2 weight classes. He shouldn't have expected it to go as well as previous fights have gone for him.
Yeah, and he even said it himself after the fight. He was hitting Diaz pretty good.
Yeah, but again,
and he
moved up
wasn't
2 weight
doing
classes.
damage.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing the normal damage that he would do to a 145 type of fighter. And a lot of guys would have went down in that division, but Diaz, I don't know, he busted him open in the first round, and Diaz was loving it. Like he's a crazy guy. And
I mean, they're all crazy.
Yeah, but he was like, "Oh, blood, let's go. I'm ready to fight. Let's go. I love this. Let's go."
Yeah.
And he took it to McGregor. Chris, I know this is a very sensitive topic for you. You're a big McGregor guy. What's your thoughts here?
Listen, no matter what you say, Conor McGregor is one of the best fighters in the world. And at the same time, I mean,
One of the best.
one of the best players in fighters in the
It-
world. Calm down, relax.
If
Don't
you
get your
want to
panties
go
in a bunch yet.
in the
I'm going to
140,
keep talking. Don't get it yet, okay? Don't worry. You have a lot of time to start
all right,
going.
you finish, and then I'll come
I'm
back.
not as
Okay.
nice as Walsh. Trust me. All right, so here we go. All right, Conor McGregor is one of the best fighters in the world. That's a fact. That is what it is. Conor McGregor planned on fighting in the lightweight championship in the 160 division against Dos Anjos.
155.
155. Okay, all right. Sorry, all right. 155 does against Dos Anjos. If that fight happens with Dos Anjos, does anyone dispute Conor McGregor beats Dos Anjos here?
There's a question mark. It's not a sure thing.
It's not as sure of a thing.
You're telling me Dos Anjos could take the same punches that Nate Diaz took in that fight?
Absolutely not.
He might be able to. Yeah, it's not a
Absolutely
sure
not.
thing that he would
Nate
win.
Diaz is a man. He is a large man. Okay? Did you see the way Conor McGregor looked from 145 up to 170? He looked like a man that if you saw on the street, you would cross the street and walk on the other way just because you wouldn't want to look at him the wrong way. He looked like a bad man. And guess what? Nate Diaz also was a bad man.
Well, that was at 170. He wouldn't be that big at 155.
McGregor took the chance to go up to 170. McGregor took the opportunity. He said, you know what? I think I am the best fighter in the world. Let me go out of my comfort zone because that's what McGregor does. Like he says, listen, he was gracious in defeat. I was surprised. I thought he'd be a little bit of a tool in defeat. But you know what? He was very honest. He said, I didn't prepare well. I didn't expect it. I thought I didn't use my energy well. But the thing of the matter was, McGregor shows up to fight. Aldo doesn't show up to fight. Other people don't show up to fight. McGregor always shows up to fight.
Hey,
That's
just
why
think
he
about
makes money.
this. Just think about this. Diaz took this fight on 12 days' notice. 12 days.
Absolutely, and good for
And-
Nate Diaz.
And he came in, he did what he had to do, and one thing that was huge was, look, there's no question about it. McGregor was the aggressive fighter in the first round, and in the middle of the second round too, for the most part. And then McGregor got tagged pretty good twice. And I was next to Chris during this fight. I said, "Wow, he got hurt. He's hurt." And he started backing up, which I've never seen McGregor do in a fight. I've watched, mostly all of his fights in the UFC, and I've never seen him back up like he was backing up at that point. And he just was a different fighter. And Diaz saw that and charged at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw McGregor try to go for a takedown, which is not one of his strong points. All of us here can agree that's not one of his things
No,
that
it's
he
desperation.
does.
That was
Yeah, as
desperation.
desperation. And then Diaz stopped the takedown and rolled him on his back and choked him out. And once it got to that point, he was pounding on him when he was on the ground and turned around and choked him out. And it was done from there.
Well, listen, that was the problem there, is that McGregor thought, listen, I always say, when there's fighters in anything, it could be boxing, it could be MMA, it could be whatever, there was one Muhammad Ali. There are a couple people who've tried to imitate Muhammad Ali. There is one Muhammad Ali. In the middle of the fight, if you think you could stick your chin out there and say, come on, especially if you're 20, 25 pounds higher in a weight class, and you try and do that, it's not going to end well for you.
No, and he found that out real quick, and I'm interested to see now. You know, there's rumors of him fighting a 200 against Aldo or Edgar. I think it's gonna go to Aldo. Yeah, UFC 200.
Pounds.
No, take it easy. Take it easy, and he'll never go back to 170 again.
That's debatable. He said he wants Diaz again. I think he goes back.
He'll take Diaz at 155.
Shenanigans.
He's not
Shenanigans.
touching 170
He will
again.
absolutely touch
He was
him.
not strong enough.
I think either way.
He was not strong
that he
enough.
wasn't strong enough.
That's
He mismanaged
that's exactly
the fight.
what the case was. He was not strong enough.
He mismanaged the fight.
Because it wasn't even that. Because he was hitting him pretty good.
Who won the first round?
Yeah, McGregor did.
Okay. And the second round, before he started sticking his face out, who was winning the second round?
The second
Who was
round
winning
was
the second
even.
round?
They were both
McGregor.
getting good shots in.
But who would have won the second round? The card read McGregor before that fight. You can check any analyst websites.
I don't care what the analysts. I say what David
What do you mean?
Giacomino
The
said.
analyst is the one who decides the fight. Those are the people at the card. I mean, listen, if McGregor manages that fight correctly and that goes the distance, McGregor just needs one more round to win the fight.
But you did see how much he was tagging Diaz, and it was doing little to nothing to him. Like he wasn't even dazed at all.
He was dazed. He had blood in his eye. I think he was dazed.
Cut.
If you had blood in my eye, I'd be dazed too.
There's a very big difference
The
in a
thing,
cut
the thing
and
is,
dazed.
you don't think he was dazed because he's used to that. He used to get pounded at that weight. McGregor, when he got hit that hard and he got tagged, he was stunned.
Diaz is a 155 guy too, so it wasn't even like he's new to he's been at 170, but still.
Yeah, but he's been at 170. McGregor was never at 170. It's fighting at 145.
Regardless.
The reach was longer. The height was different. Man, that's a large man. That is a lot. People at 170 have problems getting Nate Diaz down. Nate Diaz is a very good fighter who the UFC has shunned for multiple reasons. Him and his brother Nick. That's a different story for another time.
Nick has been in all kinds of trouble. He's suspended for a little while. He won't be back anytime soon. But just a quick question here. Do you think Diaz deserves a title shot now?
I think in the UFC
Listen.
What weight class?
He just beat the golden boy of the UFC. Conor McGregor was the main fight. Do you think he deserves a title
but
shot?
here's the debate. What weight class are you going to put him in for the title shot?
Well,
Who's he gonna take
155, I don't know if that's possible at this point because Dos Anjos might still be injured. He kind of has a broken leg. That's the reason why he came out of the McGregor fight. So I don't know if he'll go right to 170 for the title. He maybe has to win one more fight. I don't know because if you're a 170 fighter and you see Nick Diaz beat Conor McGregor, new to 170, and he kind of hops the line, I don't know if I'd be too happy.
I don't know about that. Listen, at the end of the day, the UFC, they build their fighters up. They have the rankings and everything. But at the end of the day, the fight that's going to happen is the fight that will draw the most money. All right? Nate Diaz. The thing about him was his argument with the UFC was him and his brother never got paid the way they were supposed to be paid. Guess what? You just beat Conor McGregor. It doesn't matter who you fight. You're going to get paid. If UFC wants to capitalize on this, I'd see at UFC 200 you do see him get a title shot. If they don't, they give him a big matchup. He's going to get a marquee matchup, and he's finally going to get the money that he deserved all this time. That's the end of the deal.
And he definitely impressed a lot of people. And McGregor was very humble after the fight, which I didn't know if that was gonna happen because he's a very big talker, and he basically told Diaz, "I'm gonna put you down in the first round." And
he tells everyone that though.
Oh yeah, but
I mean all that pre-fight stuff is all hype just to sell the fight. I mean,
if you do realize though, even before the fight, Conor McGregor, this is one of the few people that Conor McGregor has said, I go on record, that Nate Diaz is a great fighter. He had the utmost respect for him before. It's just when it gets into the war of the words, you're going to say things that you're going to say.
Oh, and Diaz is a huge talker, too. That's why everyone wanted this fight, and they knew the promo was coming up would be
exactly
huge.
Why
and
Diaz
it was a shame. But it was weird because Diaz wasn't talking that much in the press conferences. He was just being like, yeah, you'll see. Okay, keep saying, and McGregor would be like, yo, you're going down in the first round. I'm taking you down. You're going to hit the floor real hard. And Diaz was like, no, I'm not going to. No, not really. No.
I don't know. I think people overrate Nate Diaz's talking skills. I mean, it's a little Forrest Gumpy.
Oh, well. That's true but he's been known in the middle of a fight to stick out the finger mid-fight, and that's crazy.
It's crazy, but if it works, it works. You get in the other person's head.
Oh, absolutely, and I don't think it got in McGregor's head. Getting hit as hard as McGregor got in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, McGregor.
Actually, and you know what? We didn't get to the Holly Holm fight, but the fight before the McGregor fight was Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate. I had Miesha Tate winning this fight.
So did I.
I know you did too.
I at home.
Yeah, I know you at home, but for the reasons where, Holm's ground game was not that strong. She's a huge boxer. She was a boxing champion before she came into the UFC, and Miesha Tate is a submission specialist. She's a hard fighter, and I thought if they got to the ground, Miesha was gonna finish her, and we saw that in the second round. Holm got saved by the bell, but let's make no mistake about it. Holm would have won this fight if it goes to a decision. She would have won all the rounds except 2. Round 5 was going either way until she got taken to the ground. But if round 5, if she just keeps going back and forth, she stays less aggressive. She would, and this fight goes to a decision. She would have won the fight, but I don't think she wanted to go out like that. I think she wanted to knock her out, and she paid for it by losing.
The thing that stands out to me the most is that when Ronda Rousey fought Holly Holm, she was way too aggressive. She had the fight complete, like she did not prepare for it as well as she should, and she was way too aggressive, and that's why she got knocked out, really. And what kind of surprised me was that Holly Holm, who was the one who knocked out Ronda Rousey, who was too aggressive in the final round because she wanted to knock out Miesha Tate. That she could have Floyd Mayweathered that whole 5th round and still come out with that victory easily.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen stuff saying both ways. I mean, I'm gonna go with the opposite side of the spectrum. I mean, if you look at the way she started out that 5th round, she started out that 5th round like she was just mailing it in. It's once Miesha tagged her a couple times. She kept her distance for the most part, and then Miesha tagged her a couple times, and then she decided, let me go out of my comfort zone. She left the game plan.
Exactly.
In UFC, or in any sport really, when you leave your game plan, you're probably going to fail. You're probably going to lose.
And we saw when they got to the ground, she knew she was in trouble. She was just trying to survive at that point, and one thing we saw, once she got in the chokehold, she didn't even tap out.
Yeah,
I
give her credit for that.
She was trying to get out. And
she knew she was a
passed out.
minute away from winning that fight, and she had no other option.
Gave her the
just
thunder
passed
punch.
out.
Yeah, and
Right.
she was punching the air after the fight. They said,
That's
she
what
still
happens
thought
when
she
you
was in the
choked
fight,
out.
just punching air.
Yeah, I mean, I give credit to Miesha. She fought back. Obviously that fight was all Holly Holm's. I mean, the 5th round could have gone either way, as you guys said, but either way, Holm had won 3 rounds. Won the 1st, won the 3rd, and won the 4th.
Yeah, and now after this fight, Dana White has been on record in the post press conference saying he wants the next fight to be Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey, because he keeps saying Ronda Rousey deserves a title shot, which she does.
Definitely.
She was a great champion. She defended the belt. I don't think Holm deserves a title shot at all because she didn't defend the belt once. She defended it once and she lost.
Listen, at the same time, I mean, you beat probably the most dominant women's fighter in recent history. I mean, you should deserve a rematch. Nobody was able to hold the candle to Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was a woman possessed. Holly Holm beat her. That itself alone makes her a draw, which means she will get a rematch of the belt.
After after Miesha Tate,
Jesus.
After Tate and Ronda fight, then Holm. If Ronda wins, which I believe she will, then she can have a rematch. She deserves a rematch then.
The thing is, though, I know Dana White loves Ronda Rousey, and everyone loves Ronda Rousey. Everyone wants to see her fight again. I just don't think she's ready to come back.
She's an actor now.
Yeah, exactly. She has all these movies. She's not ready to come back. You're gonna have another Holm Tate fight. You're gonna have part 2,
I don't know about that.
in which I think
UFC
Tate's gonna win again.
You're going to see a title fight. There's no way the biggest card in UFC history you don't see. It's at Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
200s
There's
in
no
what?
way you
November?
don't see that.
July.
200s in July?
Mm-hmm.
Ronda Rousey's going to be filming movies in July. Ronda Rousey's not going to appear by then.
Yeah.
Listen, the only way to settle this is you put it off, and then you have a triple threat, like Hell in a Cell ladder,
This isn't the
Money in the
WWE.
Bank match between Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, and Miesha
You
Tate.
should page Dana White and suggest that.
Yep. I know. Dana, come hit me up, son. Come on, son.
3-way fight. Who
Who wins that match?
Who wins that
Who
fight?
wins that?
Bro, the crowd wins that match.
Everyone watching wins that match.
Yeah, and
I think
everyone wins.
Holm wins that match because she's the more punch. She would throw more punches. She would.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, Holm goes to the ground.
You should have BFC
Ronda
barroom
and Tate?
fighting championships, just a pool cue and everything. Let it rock. That would be interesting.
I
to
think.
see.
No, but in all
Drama
seriousness, with this next fight coming up, if Ronda and Miesha do end up fighting, who do you got?
I got Ronda.
Ronda and Misha.
She
yeah,
just
they
matches
fought.
up
They fought
better.
twice already. You know,
I have-
Misha was the first.
I have Misha.
Really?
Ronda's not a fighter anymore. Ronda's ready
you
for the
can't
big
say she's
screen.
not a
yo,
fighter.
she's
Come
already
on.
beaten her twice.
Listen, guys. You beat her twice, but then you just suffered the biggest loss of your career. And what did you do afterwards? You went
took
away
time
for
off.
2 months, and then you posed for Sports Illustrated swimsuit, which was great. And then you decide to go do movies for a while. It's pretty clear. Ronda Rousey does not have fighting in her future. This
Yeah.
doesn't
No,
mean
you're
as much to
absolutely
Ronda
right.
Rousey
You're
as it
out of
does
your
You're
to
mind.
Misha Tate.
absolutely
Yeah,
wrong.
Misha
You're
Tate-
way wrong.
Is only focused on the UFC. Ronda Rousey has a lot of other interests, and I think at the
Listen,
end of the
The
day,
thing is, when Ronda comes back, I don't know when it's gonna be, but when she comes back, you can guarantee she's only gonna be focused on the UFC.
I absolutely agree.
how do you
She's-
come back from that loss now?
Oh,
It's
she,
a
You
loss.
haven't. No, I'm
It's a
saying.
loss.
I'm saying. But it's a loss. A loss is a loss. People come back. But a year layoff. You haven't fought in a
Oh,
year.
listen. When you get knocked out like that, you need a year to get yourself straight. And like,
When
I
was
don't
the
think that's
fight?
true at
When
all.
did she get knocked out?
November.
Can you look that up? It was in November.
Yeah. They say you need at least like 9 to 10 months to just get your head back straight and get your head in the game. And she's had enough time. She'll come back. She'll be stronger than ever, and she'll be
And
ready.
if you remember, Ronda was one of the best at getting her mind right before a fight, getting ready and training the right way. She didn't train the right way against Holly Holm because she got a little too into herself. She got a little too cocky.
she came out and even said it herself. She
She didn't prepare.
had a lot of things going on. She was
Yeah,
doing
she
movies.
just
She
didn't
was she
prepare.
didn't prepare
She
like
has
she
all
normally
those
would.
movies. She's
Yeah,
a movie
I think
star
she's gonna
now.
get those
and
out of the
she's
way.
a
I think
really
she's gonna
good
back
movie
fighting.
star.
I
But-
think
I
I
don't
think we
know.
should have a big bet on this one once this fight happens between me and Chris, because you know.
Fight happens between me and you. I don't know who we're betting on that.
Sorry.
I know
I
who
bet-
That's
Molly's
not what I
picking.
was-
I bet Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Molly,
Sorry.
Mary, Riss. I think they're
So-
all.
so-
I was once in a Chris Freitag chokehold and it didn't end well.
I don't know what
God.
you're talking about. I deny
in
that.
the locker room.
Make America great again.
All right, whatever. That's pretty much gonna wrap up UFC. We're gonna take another quick break. Just so that they don't kill each other, because we're gonna come
I'm just
back with
making
some
America great
Islanders Rangers. Last
God.
night
Oh God.
they played the huge game. Blood's gonna go down right now.